Hey everyone, I'm Oscar from Underdog. Have you ever gotten to a point in your composition where you're working in like an 8-bar loop or something, and you kind of get stuck in the loop? And especially when you copy-paste the loop across your timeline, it just feels stale. It feels like not a lot is moving. It feels a bit predictable and static. Well, today I want to show you a technique which is called dub effects or dub delays to create really musical secondary layers behind your composition. Let me show you an example. Here's the simplest composition you'll ever see. Just a kick and a loop from a vocoder that I made in this video over here. Now I'm going to apply the dub effect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a slice of this synthesizer pattern and put it into our effect unit. And then that little slice starts to swell up to become its own musical texture, and it swells up. And then it passes away. Okay, so what's actually happening here? Why is this not just a delay with the dry-wet control open and closed, right? It sounds like a delay, but there's something special about it. And so there's 3 ingredients to it. First step is you need a delay unit with a volume control before it. Because what you want is you want your pattern to play normally, but then every now and then send a small slice of audio to the delay unit, and then the delay unit can do its magic on it. All right, you don't want everything going into the delay unit all the time. There's a few different ways of achieving this, but the easiest way is to use a send and a return channel, because the send control kind of acts like a volume control. You can leave the send and return completely at 0 for the entire song, and then every now and then open it up manually for just a moment to let through a little slice of the audio so it can go into the delay unit. So in this example, to get this effect, we'll set up a return channel, and in that return channel, we're going to put our dub delay. Now we need to choose our delay unit carefully, because it's very important that we can control the feedback to go all the way up to 100% and even a little bit above 100%. If a delay unit has a feedback above 100%, the audio that comes out gets fed back into the input a little bit louder than it was before. So in fact, you only need to feed it one little sound for it to endlessly regenerate. And in fact, it's going to endlessly amplify from that point onwards. So to deal with that, we need 2 things. We first need a limiter behind there, just to be sure. Whenever you're working with feedback loops, always good to use a limiter, just for your own ears, just for your mental health, just for your safety. And then the second thing is you want a tactile control over this feedback. That means using your hands. So if you're using mouse and keyboard or a trackpad, this is okay in the beginning, but you're going to get a lot more organic and tasty results if you have something like a MIDI controller, something that you can put in your hands and twist knobs on or move faders on, because the things that you want to be able to control are, first of all, the volume going into the delay. So in this case, the send amount. The feedback, that's really a crucial one, because you want to be able to ride that feedback. That's what they call it. And then maybe another control to control the volume on the output. And you can do this in any DAW, right? Pretty much every DAW is capable of doing this. But in Ableton, if you want to map to MIDI, all you have to do is right-click on the parameters in question, hit Map to MIDI, then use the little blue button up here to exit MIDI mapping mode. And there you go. Now you have it in your hands. So with the 3 sliders enabled, you can use the first slider to catch a little bit of audio, then the second slider to ride the feedback. So keep it around 100%, a little bit more than 100%, a little bit less than 100%, to create this endlessly evolving loop. And then when things get a little bit too loud, you can use your volume control to just adjust that or bring that down a little bit. Super fun. And from here, you can go in many different directions. You can try different delay speeds. You can try adding more effects into that effect chain. And specifically, what I really recommend you to do is to bounce these to audio. So do a whole bunch of takes of this and just record it as audio. So to do this, of course, you just make a new audio track. You take the input from the return channel and then you just hit record. That way, after you've done a few of these dub takes, you can then deactivate the dub return channel and just use this as audio effects in your track so that you can take all the best takes. With this concept, you can go really far and you can try adding a whole bunch of different effects in series as well. For example, if you use the Reason VST rack, you can use a combination of all these very inspiring effects. And the same principle applies, and you can also map it to MIDI. It's no problem. just hit the little triangle, hit configure, and then touch whatever the parameter is inside of the VST that you want, and it should show up there. And once it shows up there, you can right-click it again and do map MIDI just as you would usually do it. If you're a beginner at composing electronic music and you find all of these different techniques a bit overwhelming, that's normal. And to help you learn in a more structured and manageable way, I've created this course called The Foundations of Electronic Music, which you can find on my website. It's designed for absolute beginners, assuming no previous knowledge. And by the end of it, you should be in a position to be kind of like an intermediate level producer, finishing your own first tracks. Listening to the dub delay technique that you heard in this video, you might be reminded of another technique that we used to spice up our boring loops, which was called polymeters. You can watch that video here next if you like. And there's a complementary and similar technique which I call painting with sound, which you can watch right here. Like the video and leave a comment to show me some love. Come show us on our Discord channel what you did with this. And until next time, stay producing, be good to one another, and take care. Bye-bye.